I'm Sarah Samuelson. I'm the Dean of the Stony Lake Conference. When I think back on my mother, I always think of her as a party girl. Now, I don't mean that term as one of disrespect. In fact, I think of it quite the opposite. I love the way my mom was always in for a bit of fun and was always the social director at my father's church. Fittingly, my mother, Sylvia, was born to a Swedish Lutheran pastor on New Year's Eve. When Sylvia died on the 4th of July, it was just as the fireworks were going off in the night sky. And as she drew her last breath, there was an explosion in the darkness, which to me was the only fitting way to mark the way Sylvia lived her life. Big and loving and full of kindness and generosity towards those who needed something that she was able to find with the wherewithal to give from within the church that my father served in Grand Rapids. She was there celebrating the gospel the best way she knew how, which was by giving of all that she had, which was a powerful witness to me. Which leads me to my favorite gospel story. And what is it? It's the party story. And of course, it is the story of the prodigal son, the prodigal party story, the prodigious party story. If you look up prodigious, it means extraordinary or wondrous. And there is something wondrous about this story. And let me tell you the 3 reasons I love this story. First, I love it for the reason why we always tell it. I love it for the prodigal son who lives in all of us. Each of us have wandered away from our Heavenly Father and found ourselves in the foreign land of sin and trouble, lost and alone. Then, when we manage to find our way back, we can't believe it, but we are welcomed home with a party to beat the band. It's always absolutely amazing. Second, I love it for what ultimately happens for the older son. Because many of us are like the older son. How many of us have been told in our time that we who sit in the pews are just like the Pharisees? I know, maybe you feel like me. It can drive you a little bit nuts when the pastor from the pulpit, here we are, who do the right thing, who attend church, sit on committees, give to the church with our offerings, who attend work bees. The list goes on, and here we sit in the pews, and the pastor says, well, we're really like the Pharisees. We don't like that. Well, come on, I know. But yet, here we are. That's sort of the truth of it. But here's what I've come to know. This is the good news of the parable for we who are like the older son. Did you hear what the Father said? The Father wants us to come into the party. And when we get to heaven and we come up onto the house, the house with the many rooms. That's right. The house with many rooms where Jesus has gone to prepare a place for us, it's that house. Yes, when we come up to that house, there will be a party going on, and we will hear the music playing our favorite song. So let's ride right on into the party and take our place among the faithful, which is the third and final thing I love about this party parable. Ultimately, this parable of grace and forgiveness for me leads into the surprise that Jesus has in store for each and every one of us. His love and intimate knowledge and understanding about each and every one of us will be the ultimate party favor that we get at the end of our lives. It's a true gift to behold. He knows us. To kind of quote Sally Field, He knows us. He really knows us. And isn't that delightful to be fully known and to be fully loved?